This is A Who All Gonna Be Their podcast, a place where you get to be an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to A Who All Gonna Be Their podcast, the place where you get to become an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. It is Kiki, Eric, and Tracy here to talk about Survivor 42. What's going on? How y'all feeling? Has gas gone down, Trees? I know last week, child, you
No.
were struggling with gas. Has
No,
it gone
gas
down?
went from 420 to 430, and in some places it's 440. What are y'all doing?
Look, I know
That's
the
crazy.
listeners are like, if they talk
Like,
about gas one more
I'm
episode.
gonna talk about it. Because I'm trying to be outside this summer, and now you know what I'm gonna do? Stay inside. I'm gonna do
Listen.
activities at the house. That's it. I'm taking my kids to the playground 37 times.
I'm gonna buy you a bike.
That's exactly what I said. I said, I gotta get me a bike. I'm gonna get a little basket so I can get my little groceries.
It's too hot to be riding in a bike. I need air condition. Okay,
it's 100 degrees out here. I'm suffering.
You ain't riding no darn bike to no grocery store.
I live literally 35 seconds from a grocery store, like driving. So I could ride my bike to that one. Now I might just.
Then
come
how you
back
gonna get the
like,
groceries back?
I might just. It's just for when I need to go grab like something quick, like and get some exercise. So I'll go get me
your backpack. You can have your backpack.
I'll get my pickles, Lay's potato chips, and a popsicle. I don't know.
Junk food.
Mess.
Oh my
exactly
God.
Mess is exactly what it is.
Oh man,
that's hilarious to me. Well, listeners, thank you for tuning back in to our To Go Plate episode talking about Survivor 42. I'm gonna go on ahead and pass the mic to Sir Eric, who's gonna get us up to speed on the most recent episode and let us know who went out the door.
All right, y'all. So this episode, we've talked about spoilers, right? And so having seen those spoilers, unfortunately, I knew what was coming. But I didn't want to believe it because, anytime you see a spoiler, they can be right all the way up until a point. And so I was just hoping with, one shred of hope because they have been too accurate. So I'm like, there's no way they're going to be wrong. But there's like this sliver of hope. I'm like, they're going to be wrong. So I'll kind of start this episode with this like sense of impending doom in my chest. So when it started off, they coming back from getting rid of Hyde, everybody's rejoicing. I mean, the angels are speaking on the island. They like, Hyde's gone. We got the king is slayed. We good. The game is opening up. And I'm like, okay, y'all doing all this celebrating, but y'all still got to vote each other out. And so here comes Mike. The main one mad at Hyde wanted Hyde gone because he felt Hyde was trying to control him or was controlling him and running things. He started trying to do the exact same thing that Hyde was. So he became the new king.
He the new king.
The new king.
Yeah.
And ain't that how it is? You get rid of one king and another one replaces it and do the exact same thing, if not worse. And so this time he has this big plan. So he brings 5 people together. So it's him, Omer, Lindsay, and Drea. And,
who was it?
Mike, Omer, Lindsay,
Drea. I'm still calling him Omar. Forgive me, Omer.
Look, I've been getting it right. We have corrected this man's name.
Yes, I'm gonna get it right. Okay, because that's one thing I like to get folks' names right.
Right.
And I know, sometimes as Black people and people of color, people will intentionally or just not try to get your name right because they feel like it should be shorter, or they feel like it should be something else, or they want to give you a nickname. No, you're gonna get this name, and you're gonna get
my
right.
name. No, right.
And I'm gonna remind you. So we just wanted to be respectful of that. So Omer, Mike, Lindsay, Drea, and John. Was it Jonathan part of that? I'm trying to figure the 5. Yes, that was 5 people, right? I can't do math, y'all. Mike, Drea, Omer, Lindsay, Jonathan.
Yeah.
Okay, that's 5 people. I was like, hold on. I feel like I was forgetting. Okay, it's 7 people. Okay, perfect. Because Romeo and Marianne weren't a part of it. And they're like, let's do this 5. We can just move it to the end, get out Romeo and Marianne. We good to go.
They're going to stop leaving my girl Marianne out of stuff. But whatever.
I know. Bless her heart.
Do you hear me?
She going to sneak to a win.
Wow. But look, go ahead. I'm going to say, let her go on and stay in the background. Don't be a target.
And it's funny that y'all mentioned it because while they over here on the beach talking about this little final 5, Marianne and Romeo like, we've been on the bottom and nobody wants us. But here's the thing. Now we're in the power seat because they're going to start turning on each other and they're going to be going after each other and nobody's looking at us. And so I'm like, okay, that's good. Good, awareness. True. And so once the 5 break up, here go Mike. that 5 is fake. He talking to Omar or whatever, or John, somebody. And we're actually going to get out Drea. We're going to let her think we doing Romeo. And I'm like, where did this come from? He's like, Drea is a threat to win this game. We cannot let her get any further. If she gets to the final 3, she's going to win because she's a threat in this game.
Threat where, though?
She's a threat.
I mean, don't get it twisted. Drea has done well, but
she has.
Was she really a threat at that point in the game? Was she really a threat to win the game? No, she wasn't.
Like,
they were looking for an excuse.
Exactly, because I tweeted. I said, "How is Drea the immediate threat to win the game when Hercules is right there?"
And Hercules 2.0 right next to him, Lindsay.
Okay.
That's Xena. That's Xena, warrior princess.
She-Hulk.
Xena.
Okay, because she then won 2
she been
back to back. Okay, but she not a threat, but Drea is. Okay, and then it was just a little too. This episode was Drea heavy because after that conversation, they talking about Ye was trying to figure out how to get some food because they was hungry, and Jonathan's talking about how he does so much more than everybody. He's losing calories because he's normally used to eating this, and so sometimes I just like to lay down.
Everybody losing calories. You on Survivor, right?
Hello. And so they're complaining. So he's laying down or whatever, and people are complaining about the food. So then he's complaining about food rations, right? And he's like, and Romeo, he just sit here and eat at the bottom of the thing. He don't contribute. And I was cracking up because the way that Eddie had him just
baby, I was cracking up. He threw his little dirty hands in there. I was like, boy.
And them little strands of rice. Whatever it's called, strains of rice.
Yes. And then listen, it wasn't even funny.
So why y'all edit that like that?
They made it even funny because it goes to his confession. Like, yeah, like he knew they were talking about him. He's like, and yes, I am eating about it. He said, I don't care if it's in there. I'm gonna eat.
I know that's right, Romeo. I support it. Shoot, don't leave me alone with no food and I'm hungry because you know what I'm gonna do.
And it's like y'all been trying to get me out of this house. So out this island. So why do I care if I'm eating up your little? Yes, I'm gonna eat it up and I'm gonna keep on.
And I'm gonna be full too.
Yes, exactly.
But like, what happened to the rice? Couldn't tell me.
And I scraped the bottom till there was nothing left.
Baby would have licked the pan. Then no seasoned rice.
Okay, but that took me out. But so. It goes to them. They're trying to figure out how to. So Mike, Drea, Lindsay, and Omar are trying to figure out how to do the net right to go catch a fish. So Jonathan walks up and they're like, Jonathan, explain how to do it. And so he's talking about it. He gets upset because Drea's like, well, are you gonna are you gonna do it? Like, are you gonna come show us how to do it? And he's like, Drea, you ain't gotta speak to me like that. And I'm like, what is she just asked a question?
Yeah, would you come do this?
And then they're like told what to do. His ego was bruised.
And you were just crying. You was hungry. Like.
And then he's like, nobody in there, like, well, Jonathan. And I think Lindsay, so she was like, well, none of us know how to fish, Jonathan. So why wouldn't you be the one? And he didn't have no words for Lindsay.
None.
When she said something back to him. But, Drea is the one that you got to have an attitude with. Drea is being rude. And, okay. And so that just kind of, we already don't like Jonathan anyway. Mm-hmm. So that just keep adding more salt to the wound because I'm just over him right now.
Where's he supposed to go anyway?
Hopefully tomorrow.
Not soon enough.
I think it's spoiler. He gonna go deep.
My land.
He needs to go. And so we're gonna move right along because speaking of Jonathan and his ability to win, like we were talking about last week, because I asked the question like, do you guys think they made a mistake in keeping him over high instead of taking the opportunity to get him out when they could? So it came to the immunity challenge, correct? Mm-hmm. But this time, Jeff is like, this is no ordinary immunity challenge. This is a twist. We've entered into the game that you guys are not aware of. And this game is do or die. And the way it works is you guys are going to draw rocks out of a bag. One rock is going to be if you want to compete in this challenge. The other rock is if you want to sit out of this challenge. You can sit out if you feel like you're not in danger. But if you feel like you need it, you're going to compete in this competition. But the first person to fall out of this competition, so it was the endurance comp, the one where they nailed to the cross pretty much. They got to hold on to the cross.
It so remind me of Christ on Calvary's cross.
Not die for our sins.
Yeah, no, because it's the same comp, Christian did for 5 hours on 37. Mm-hmm. So they hold their arms up and they like got to keep their backs against the little wood post and keep their feet on there. And so he's telling them the first person to drop will have to get in this game, this game of luck. And they don't know what it's going to look like. But he's basically like, if you fall off, you're gonna have to make a decision. In this game, it's like if you make the wrong decision, you're out of the game. Nothing can save you. No advantage, no idol, no anything. You're just done. The game is spoken. Stupid. But if you choose not to, like, we're still gonna have a tribal council if this person goes home. If this person doesn't go home, then we will have a tribal council. Mm-hmm. So basically, they pull their rocks and everybody sits out except for Jonathan and Lindsay. Xena, the Amazon warrior princess, and freaking Hercules, Thor, Goliath.
I wonder what would have happened if it just one person had done it. I wonder if they would have been like, what we gonna do?
Production would not let that happen. They would have figured something out.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Everybody,
like,
somebody
run these
else.
Rocks back. Bring another bag out with some more rocks. Somebody gonna play this.
Somebody gonna play.
He gonna give us some incentives. Okay, if somebody else plays, we'll give you 2 loaves of bread. Right?
Couldn't pay me to do it.
Loaves. Please, I ain't taking that risk. Bye.
Especially when they saw the comp, so they're like, I know my endurance, so I ain't doing it. Mm-mm. So basically, he told him, so all right, either Lindsay or Jonathan will be competing. We'll have to do the do or die twist, and if they they choose right, they safe. They can't be voted out, and somebody else will. Or it could be the end of their game, no tribal council, and we moving on to the final 6. So they up there, they battling, and Jonathan's shaking because he big. And so
because he big,
just big, and he's shaking. And I'm like, y'all remember how Tiffany and Ozza were when Alyssa was on the wall and she was getting ready to fall, and they like showed each other like, come on, look. I know that was a lot of us like, come on, fall, let him fall. Then Lindsay fall.
I'm like, girl,
and I
thought that was her competition to win strictly because she's smaller framed, right?
Well, yeah,
and I definitely thought she had it in the bag.
Man,
I did
and
too.
Smaller feet, you know what I mean? Like the whole thing.
Yes. And she falls, and I'm like, dang, this girl about to do or die. And I've started to like Lindsay. So I'm like, I don't really want her to go, but
not yet.
She
can go, but not yet.
She can go because, well, here's the thing. So when it came to it, Drea was saying, like, I like Lindsay. I don't want her to go, but if she goes, this little amulet becomes a full-fledged idol. Right. And I get to have the idol. And so they're like, she's like, okay, if she goes, she go. And that's how a lot of people are like, so we got to figure out something just in case she does, like, for whatever, because they don't know what how it's going to work. So they're like, just in case she does stay, who we sending home? And so most of the show was like people trying to figure out who they were going to vote and whatnot. And like we said earlier, so Mike is like, we got to fool Drea. We got to get Drea out of here. So here she is again. It's her name. And so he's going around trying to gather the votes. Like, we're going to tell Drea it's Romeo, right? And she's going to be the one to go because we got to get her out of here. And so he tells Drea, she's like, so what are we doing? What are you doing? She's like, he's at Romeo. She's like, okay, Romeo, cool. What's he doing, Romeo? And she started looking around. You know how her scenes doing. Her intuition just start clicking in. She's like, she's like, I see them going off into the woods. I see this going on. Something ain't feeling right. Nah.
She's smart.
She's smart. And so she's like, I think I'm the target. And so she's like, Mike think he got me. So I'm gonna take Mike's idol. And I'm like, okay, knowledge is power is in play, right? So this is gonna be iconic because Mike think he can Drea out. She finna to snatch that little idol away from him. And so he's gonna be the one going home because if Lindsay is safe, so they can't vote her out. And so she's gonna use knowledge is power, take Mike's idol. So she's the target, so she's probably gonna use that idol, and then Mike will go home. But y'all, why did she tell Omer?
You get the knowledge of power. I don't care. Tell everybody about your idol, whatever. The knowledge of power is like, to me, is almost it is as powerful as an idol. Don't tell nobody. Don't even tell your ally.
Don't.
Like, that is a very powerful thing to have. Why would you tell anybody?
Don't even tell the angel on your left shoulder.
Don't even tell the what's it called when they do them confessionals? You got the knowledge power? Got what? I ain't got nothing. What you mean?
Look, don't tell production.
Y'all ain't leaking nothing. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's the
Jesus.
problem when it comes to this game. Every season, people run their mouth about what it is that they've obtained, right?
They
And
get too
you would
excited.
think somebody would learn to just be quiet because somebody's going to use it against you, especially with 7 of us left now, right? So it's like everybody's playing for themselves for real at this point in the game. So
Look,
I'm not sharing nothing about what I got. I'm just not doing it.
look, anybody listening, if you go on the next Survivor, who knows if they're gonna do this again? 2 times in a row, Liana dropped the bag on that. The Drea dropped the bag.
Exactly. It's the same
This next
thing.
person, do not, if you get the knowledge of power, is that what's called? Knowledge of power?
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge, the thing, don't tell nobody. I need to see this played at least once successfully,
Because
bruh.
here's the deal. The power, knowledge is power, is a double-edged sword because knowledge truly is power. It's not just because you have it and you can take it, because if somebody else finds out about it, they have the knowledge.
You
and the
took
power
away
becomes
from your
theirs.
knowledge.
Hello,
Shoot.
and then you gave it to somebody else.
Oh,
and so what
Jesus.
she did was thinking she could trust Omer. And so for me, I was kind of like, sis, your intuition has been right every time you've been in danger. But it didn't click that you couldn't tell Omer. You shouldn't have told Omer.
Right.
And it's like, maybe, and we know he's playing such a phenomenal game that everybody trusts him. Everybody's thrown their games in his lap, and he didn't put it in his little bag and tucked it away for his own keeping. And he's doled out when you're going home and when he deems it fit for you to leave. And so he decides to take this information that Drea gets. He's like, oh my gosh, because he was the one kind of, like, Mike is turning into high. And I don't like that. Mike thinking he's running this, so Mike needs to go. But I don't know how we're going to get rid of him because he wants Drea out.
All right.
And so when Drea brings him this information, he's like, oh my God, this is the key that we needed to get him out. And so I'm like, okay, he on board. Let's do this thing. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not happy that she told him, but he on board. Like, let's let them two run. Y'all run to the end. Y'all my faves anyway. Run to the end. Run this thing to the bank and cash it. And so, but he go and tell Lindsay, he like, you can't tell nobody, but Drea's gonna be taking Mike's idol tonight. And she's like, wait, she can do that? And she was like, well, I trust Mike more than Drea. So what if you tell Mike and he gives you his idol and we still vote out Drea? And he's like, oh. And so he's in his confessional. He's like, okay, I can stick with the plan with Drea. Let her take Mike's idol. We vote Mike out. Good. Or I could have Mike give me his idol and we still vote out Drea and I keep his idol. And and I don't have to give it back because he's giving it to me. Or I could keep his, get it, still vote him out, take his idol, still go with Drea and vote Mike out and still have an idol left. And so he had 3 options of where he could have went. And so we don't know what this man gonna do. And once again, the power is all pretty much in Omar's hands of like who's going home. And so they leave us with that. And so we go to tribal council, and a lot of the questions that Jeff is asking is about like what's important at this stage in the game. And people are like, relationships. Everybody's talking about relationships. And like, who do you feel like you're close to, who you can trust? Because you may feel like this person is someone that you can go with, but then you don't know who else they're connected to. So you really don't know where the game is going to go. Right. Strictly based on these relationships. And so in terms of these relationships, Jeff, he asked Drea, he's like, he always pinpointed the person who in danger. And so he's like, Drea, so in your mind, like, what is going on? And she's like, well, Drea, and it was iconic. I loved it. But it's kind of like, after what happened, she's like, well, honestly, Jeff, when it comes to these relationships, she's like, I just observe. She said, people go walk to the well, say they're getting water, and they come back with no water. I observe.
I'll crack it up.
People walk.
Holler.
Me too. Should they say they're going to go gather wood, and they come back with no wood in their hand?
Wood.
I observe. People go off and they have these conversations with certain people, and they're leaving the camp. I observe, and I'm like, okay, you know what's going on. Like,
she learned from that lesson when she talking about she was doing that sign, wasn't no paint on that sign. She was like, well, I need to start paying attention a little bit better.
Exactly.
But for when she was saying that, though, I'm like, man, she's solidifying the fact that they're voting her out. And to me, didn't
That
want her to say that stuff
me either.
because it made the
Mhm.
it's almost like confirmed, like, yep, we doing the
Yep.
right thing, get rid of
Yep.
her. Because she sees
Yes.
too much. She just gave
Yep.
us her hand.
Mhm.
Down that now, I will say now, but see, prior to, I'm like, no, but now, yes, now you're a threat because that is a threat. You see what's going on. Now, had this been displayed beforehand, I'm like, okay, her being a target is warranted visually, you know, like, of course, they know
Yeah.
throughout the game what she's able to do and whatever. But like
Mhm.
for us viewers, we're like, why are y'all targeting her? Like when again, Hercules is there, King Mike is here.
New
Like
King.
He said new King Mike.
New King Mike is here, and or you know, She-Hulk, She-Ra, Xena, whoever, Lindsay, she's there. And but when her pointing out Kiki, that was my. I was like iconic because this is bomb line. You know, I love a good one line, whatever. I love it, but I'm like, sis, you can't tell people that. You
Mm-mm.
can't say that
Yeah,
out
keep it to
loud.
yourself,
But I
girl.
know why she said it because right before it was voting, she's like, I gotta read this power out. I got something right here. So she reads knowledge is power. It states that I can ask a person anything I want, any advantage or idol that they have, they must give it over to me if I ask. And so she's like, Mike, do you have an idol? And his head been hung down, so she should have been paying. You didn't observe that, sis. His head was hanging down the whole tribal. And
Trying to avoid being seen.
trying to avoid being seen. And they talking about you don't know what people have told you if it's true or not. You don't know if they've told what you've told to other people. I'm like, is she listening to this? Because she ain't observing this. And so he's head and he's like, no, I don't. And she immediately, and I love this is where I love it because, like, again, I was like, dang, they got her. And I know she's going home at this point. But it's like she starts laughing immediately. She's like, dang it, y'all got
She like, dang, going home. She knew right.
Yeah, she did. And she's like, like, okay, cool. And so
she was fighting.
Yeah. And because when she started reading, the jury's like, oh my gosh, Mike is dead in the water. Like, this is iconic. And everybody's faces is shocked, those that didn't know about it. But yeah, so they, you know, he's like, no, I don't have the idol. And everybody's, again, they're like, what happened? Like, oh, they
everybody knew you had the idol.
Right. And so they got her and she, you know, she knew it. So they go to vote. And the vote is Mike, Drea. So they tied it first. And then it's like, Drea. And 11 person voted out Survivor, Drea. And she's like, then she gets up, she's hugging everybody. They're like, you know, that's good. She's like, and then Mike's like, was that your third vote? She said, yeah, I used my extra vote. I was like, yes. She's like, I was going out hard. I played hard. I gave it everything. And I'm glad. I was like, yeah, she didn't go home with no advantage, nothing in her pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
she was such a good sport. I appreciated that. Actually was the most life I've seen out of Drea in terms of
throughout the whole game.
The friendly side, because it
Kiki?
Oh, so she froze on yours too?
Yes, girl.
Because I didn't know if it was just me. So I was just like, because I saw you reacting. So I was just like, okay, it must just be me frozen.
No.
Oh my God.
She froze over here too, girl. You froze, Kiki. So I hope
I
you
really
went on
appreciated the sportsportsmanship.
We was like this
to Drea.
Yes,
I really did.
Yeah,
I know I had
mentioned
to switch my internet over, child, because the thing froze up. I was testing out T-Mobile's new internet service, and it has failed me. And I'm taking this block thing back.
Come on,
well, listen. At least it worked through I'm gonna say Bethany's through Betty's. Interview. Praise God.
So I'll surely be able to. Hopefully, I can edit this out. If not, y'all, this is a group chat. This is what happens. You feel me?
It happened. Yeah. But I think you're absolutely right. This was the first time like we saw life on the friendly side of Drea, because it has like up until now we've seen her like this hard demeanor. Like she's not cold or callous, but like she's business minded, she's focused, she's driven, she's here to play, she gonna do what she needs to do, she's taking all the risks necessary. And so it was nice to see this, you know, more jovial side of her that we haven't got to see before. But you know what, like I said, based on sport, I knew it was her leaving. Again, I was hoping that it wasn't, but I wasn't sad. when she left, I mean, I was sad, but because of the way she got up, everybody, she hugged, everybody, she's having a good time. She's joking about it. But before she left, I was like, come on, Queen. The way she exited the game, she stopped. She was like, Jonathan, I wasn't ever coming for you. So I just want you to know that. But it's whatever. Romeo, you've been on the block every single week. Lindsay, I'm rooting for you. Mike, you're gonna win this game if you're in the final 3. And he's like, oh no, that's the kiss of death. Yeah. And that's what he get. Put it right on his back, sis. And that's not the only target she plays, because she said before she left, she said, oh, and Omar, you're the only one I told about my advantage. So I want everybody else to know that. And I'm like, yes, get him again.
That was good, because that's gonna wrap up his game, because now people are gonna be like, they're gonna second guess anything they tell Omer. So come on, Drea.
Good. I was like,
playing the game on the way out.
Yep,
on the way out. And then she said, Marianne,
that's how you play.
That's how you play. And she said, Marianne, keep being you. And so I was like, that's how you leave it in. She was like, don't do it, Jeff. He's getting ready. She's like, don't do it. He's like, do you want to say it? She said, your tribe
has spoken.
Snuffs her thing.
Yeah. But Eric, did you mention about the boxes with Lindsay?
I showed it. Listen,
was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, them little raggedy boxes.
Yeah. I didn't got so deep into the thing. Listen, I could care less about
this. Because that's how relevant that twist was.
That part. Because the second, and that's so the way the twist works. So before all the good stuff that I already talked about, Lord, Jeff is like, all right, Lindsay, come on up here. Before you are 3 boxes, one with gold, frankincense, and myrrh. Like those 3 wise men and gave Jesus. Is that what that was? He was in these 3 boxes. And he's like, 2 of these contain the skull. 1 of these contains fire. And the fire represents your life in this game. Choose the box with fire, and you're safe. You cannot be voted out tonight. And if you choose the box, one of the boxes with skulls in them, you will be gone and nothing can save you. And that will be it for tonight. And so she's like, I'm going with my gut. I'm choosing this box. So she chose the one on the left. And so Jeff is like, do you want to switch? And so he opened up one of them and it was a skull. Like, okay, cool. Boop, that's gone. And he's like, all right, do you want to switch? You can switch if you want to. And you remember last time we talked about the Monty Hall problem, girl. We thought, me and Treese thought that was a player in the game. But it was just like this theoretical mathematical thing. Like you always switch when it's a decision, when it's a 3-way
I heard
decision.
That you always were supposed to keep the thing the same because that increases the odds. No,
it's always switch. And that's what remember High was talking.
Because High had said you always swap. That wasn't in my spirit. My spirit said keep it the same.
I was saying, I'm gonna keep what I got. Yeah.
And that's why he would have been out tonight had he still been in there. He did today.
Yep.
Talking about you always, and you would have swapped yourself right after that.
Yes, you would have swiped.
Would have been gone
onto the jury.
Exactly. And so
would have been snuffed.
That part. And so she decided to keep her like Deshaun did. So Deshaun also decided to not switch. And so it's like people were on Twitter like, I guess the Monty Hall people are in shambles because both contestants didn't switch and they both were right. Huh? And so she decides to keep her box, and of course it's the fire, so she was safe, which ultimately led to the rest of the conversation in tribal council, in which Drea was sadly, but not so sadly, voted off. But I had a question. I saw some tweets about this on Twitter. I wanted to ask you guys your thoughts about production or Jeff himself playing a role in not just Lindsay or maybe even Deshaun, but specifically Lindsay choosing the correct box, because they showed his right hand he kept pointing, his way he pointed was to the box that had the fire in it. And so people are speculating like when he started. Cheating. Right. And so people are speculating was like him giving hints, or what y'all think?
Wait a minute. I didn't even pick up on that. I need to go back and run it back.
So yeah, people are like, what's the point of this twist? Like, because we feel like Jeff showed her which box his hand was right on, always on the one that was right. And so, you know how people won't always catch. The Twitter detectives are always on the case. And so people got the screenshots. So maybe it was just how they edited the show, and it maybe just looked like that. But I just want to know, like, do you guys think production had a hand in it?
Typically,
Listen, I always feel like production has a hand in a lot of different things, so I would not be surprised. I, to be honest with you, I'll be glad when they get rid of this little do or die thing. I actually don't think it
I
doesn't
hate
give them
this twist.
something to, because everything is about strategy and stuff, right?
You
It's
can't
hard to
strategize.
strategize around a matter of luck. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you pick a box, pick a door, and
Right.
the
Any
door could be
door.
leading to your the door could be leading to your demise. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised, child, if production didn't have its hand in keeping Lindsay, because
It
it
wouldn't
makes it
surprise
for
me
a
at all.
good it makes for a good challenge between Lindsay and Jonathan. It's almost like the Lindsay and Jonathan. Let's see who's going to be the last strong
Right.
person standing.
Also, and like Mama, when you brought up like do or die too, it's like it's strategy in terms of like the people who may have to end up voting if that person, is safe. So like,
Right.
okay, so they have to plan, but like in terms of the person, it's not fair. And I guess it's not, it's just a part of the game. But like I can't save myself just because, and like I think I mentioned it last time, like if I stay up on this thing for 2 hours and just because I'm the first one to fall, like I fall, I gave my life halfway. And just
Flop
because
twist.
that, and I still could go home. I can't defend myself. I can't ask for no votes. Like I'm just defenseless, and it's all on luck. I think it's not right. So
Hated it.
It
so I'm
defeats the purpose of the
glad.
game.
Hello.
Like you're supposed to fight for but you want a box of fire.
Outwit, outlast, outplay. How does that
Exactly. That's not a
factor
play.
into your core value, Survivor?
It's Russian roulette.
Right. That's essentially it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that if it goes against the core meaning of the show or the point of the show, which is outwit, outlast, outplay, or whatever, how do you make a twist like that? And it's
Right.
contradictory to what you're supposed to be doing for this show. So they
Very well
definitely,
said.
thank you. They definitely
Very well
that do or die needs to just die.
Right.
Die. Be done. Dead. Put it on the cross.
They need to do something else.
Look. They need to do something that they need to do away with it. All the above. Bye.
All of the above.
Get rid of it, Jeff. Get rid of it.
What's next week supposed to be talking about? I totally did not see the
previews.
The previews.
So the previews are basically people are up in the air about Omar, like we
okay.
thought.
So she really did plant that seed of doubt and did it well.
And guess who? And guess who's leading the charge about potentially getting him out?
Marianne.
Mike.
Oh,
okay, Mike.
King Mike, huh?
King Mike. And so again, that was another misstep. So like I said, with Jonathan winning this last immunity when they should have gotten him out, because that was the main, he's just one immunity way from running to the end of this game. What did he do the very next week when y'all didn't take him out? One immunity.
Exactly.
You had the opportunity to get rid of Mike, who was the next in charge, like next leader, threat or whatever. You had a chance to get him out, but you decided to get Drea out, and now look what he's doing, planning your demise.
All right.
And that's so crazy. We'll see if it come back to bite him. But also had one more production like type of thing. And I think I said this to y'all in the group chat. I said they paid Drea to tell Omar, because ain't no way you at Final 7.
It was weird that she did tell him. Like, where did that come from?
I mean, were they close? I mean, if anything,
if they did, it seemed like it.
Yeah, I don't know. It just they didn't do a good job at highlighting like her close relationships like that.
For her to tell
Romeo was her close person earlier on, right? But I didn't see anything else related to anybody else. So the fact that she told at all just was odd to me.
They had her talking about, yeah, I told because I trust him. From what foundation?
Right.
What did he give you? And so I was like, now they paid her to slip up because this woman, she's too smart. And that's what, like, you knew every single time you were in danger, Drea, your intuition was right.
It was spot on.
So you can't tell me that you did not get no inkling unless Omar is just this wizard. Omar is just this good. He's just
once good. Again, it's something in the edits. Something in the edit that we missed.
Drea should slide into the who all gonna be there DMs on
Mhm.
Twitter
Yep.
and
Yep.
tell us whether or not, just say yes. Just slide into our
Give
DMs
us some tea,
on
sis.
Twitter and say
Something ain't
just
right.
slide in, just say yes if production had anything to do with it. We'll know exactly what you're talking about, child.
What do you say, Kiki? Something in the milk ain't clean.
Some in the milk ain't clean.
Sure.
Just slide in it. All you gotta do is say yes, and we'll know exactly what you're talking about.
I ain't gonna
Bring it
say who
up.
this person is, but I was talking to this person in close Twitter circle, because so only the people in the close Twitter circle can see these tweets. And so we were talking. He was like, I knew that girl was gonna fumble all, and they said that girl. I knew that girl was gonna fumble all them advantages with, because she was a recruit, this little recruit that they got. I knew she was gonna fumble all them advantages from the get-go. And I was like, why you saying? And it was just like, oh dang. But
Drea was right, bro.
no, and so
Was she really a recruit?
I don't think so. But now I'm thinking about it. She got 899,000 followers. I'm like,
if she was a recruit though, she was playing this game like she
great.
didn't know. Yep.
Yeah.
She knew to look for them idols when she was on that bench. So if she was, then she picked up on the game quick. I will give her that.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But what was I gonna say? On like to that point. Oh, she wasn't robbed, y'all. I'm sorry. This is controversial, but it was her fault, because whether she was paid to do it or it was her own volition.
I'm just saying she robbed because she black, and I just like to say if the black people don't win, they rob. So
no, it
but
was.
you tell the truth. Yeah, she got all herself out.
Because we got a lot of people that I've seen some people talking about, she shouldn't have went home. Da, da, da. I'm like, I get it, but she ran her mouth.
She was too keen about the game, and that's what got her.
Very much so. That she was too observant, and she shouldn't have said nothing. Because had she not said nothing,
shouldn't have ran her mouth.
That would have been one of the most iconic moments in the tribal history.
She still would have been, on their radar, but she would have been able to play. She would have been able to get Mike's idol and play it for herself.
Yep.
And Mike would have been
gone. And Mike would have went home.
It would have changed the trajectory of the game.
Because then it's final six. And her
at this point, it looked like it's Mike's game to lose, as the way we're looking at it right now.
Yeah. And so we'll see. We still got Romeo and Marianne over there in the Amen corner. They hanging on.
Exactly.
Oh, that's another thing in the edit. So Marianne has a plan. I don't know what her plan is, but she was telling Romeo, she's like, I got a plan, and we're gonna do this X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, okay,
come on, here, strategic queen.
She's up to something.
She's trying to open it up.
She's up to something. I don't know what it is. But
come on, Marianne.
And so that's supposed to be coming next week.
Next week. This next episode. So we'll be on the lookout for what she got planned for us.
All right, Marianne, it's time to come in here and finish strong. If you want to win this game, we need to see some strategy.
Let's make some moves, sis. Let's make some moves.
You've been playing. You've been playing well.
This is gonna be her week. She's been in the background. Now she's gonna get to moving.
It's time for her to get in the driver's seat. Y'all been driving too long. It's time for a new driver.
And you know what? And the other thing, before we close it out, even with her, she has these, she found another idol and all that kind of stuff. I hope she gets to play her thing and just, I need something to shake up the game. So hopefully she gets to play it and get somebody out or whatever.
And her extra vote. So
yes, and her extra. So we're looking forward to seeing Miss Marianne shine at this.
We gonna see it for sure.
I think I know what she's gonna do.
Don't say
what you think. You gonna say it? Go ahead.
I think why I can't say it.
I said
you can say it.
No, she treats
I said don't say it.
What did Betty tell us? Silence is violence.
That's
come on now, please. I'm about to make that my new Twitter.
So I think she's gonna use her extra vote. Her and Romeo, they're gonna vote a certain way, and she's gonna use her extra vote. So that's gonna be 3 votes on one person, and then they're gonna this is 6 of them in the game. So they all 3 probably gonna be thinking, oh, she's gonna vote with us to get out Romeo or whoever. They're gonna try to manipulate her, and she's gonna be like, well, I'm not voting with them. I'm voting with you, Romeo, and with my extra vote, this is who we voting for. So we're gonna save you.
We're gonna see a move. You know what? I hope you're right.
And then it's gonna be final 5. And she can use her idol to automatically send herself to final 4, so she ain't even gotta worry.
Come on, good TV.
So I
hope that's it,
Eric.
I think
that's what she gonna do.
I hope that's exactly what happened too.
Because that's a winning move, baby.
That's a win. I was about to say that's going to a win.
Is.
Oh, that's gonna be good. I can't wait till next week.
I'm
Speaking
excited.
of next week, listeners, we need y'all to come back. Audience, we love you.
Yes.
We thank you for joining us each week, sticking with us throughout our Survivor series. Although our Big Brother Canada is over and done with, Big Brother US is coming up. But thanks for coming back with the Survivor. We got a couple more weeks left.
I'm not
But
gonna
it's all
give
good.
up.
Hey,
I'm not
Hey.
gonna stop. I'm gonna
I'm
work
not gonna
harder.
Oh, I always
Please,
get
I
that
was singing the
lyric
whole way.
wrong.
After all of my done it, I was singing the whole song, y'all.
oh
Don't
my
get me started.
goodness.
But see
Well,
y'all next week.
listeners, we will actually see you next week. And thank you again for being an exclusive member of our very entertaining group chat. Bye.